All right, here we go. Tuesday, June 5th, Sports Bet Betting Inside today, SBRpicks.com. I'm at Real Sports Bet. He's at Teddy_Covers. We'll turn on the shot clock before we get out of here. Team previews continue. Kansas City Chiefs. It's Mahomes' team now. We'll get to that and a new offensive coordinator. And the Mad Bum's back. Giants at home against the Diamondbacks. We'll talk a baseball game as well. And play of the day. And welcome aboard Delaware at 1:30 on the East Coast. They'll take their first bets today. 3 casinos open for business. They had parlay card betting since 2009. So Delaware wins the race and beats New Jersey, Teddy.
Yeah, and that's certainly something of a surprise when we consider the fact that it was New Jersey who spent all the money to fight the system through the courts all the way up to the Supreme Court. Who takes advantage first? Delaware. We'll give the first state, they were the first state, right? I forget. Anyhow, whatever Delaware is known for, we'll give them credit for being first to market. Fascinated to see what type of action, what type of handle we see in Delaware right from the get-go, because some of the quotes, again, we continue to hear the most ridiculous things coming out of legislators' mouths around the country, thinking that sports betting is going to provide a little bit more revenue. A guy, there was one yesterday where the guy convinced overall handle with hold. He's like, oh yeah, we're going to make $5 billion off of this like Nevada did. It's like, yeah, good luck with that.
Yep.
Not quite that much revenue, guys.
Yeah, incredible. And Al Leiter, too. Al Leiter at the Assemblyman meeting. $500,000 you can bet on a ball or a strike with in play. Unbelievable comments with that yesterday. 3-1 series lead for the Capitals. Knights played well, dominated the first 10 minutes. They have hit the post 7 times in the last 2 games. They should have had the lead early. They trailed 3-0 into the first period. And through 2 periods, the Golden Knights had a 10-2 high danger chance edge, 10-2. And when it was 5-on-5, they now trail the series 3-1. See if they can force a game 6, game 5 at home on Thursday. Capitals 1 win away from hosting the Cup.
Yeah, and certainly here in Las Vegas, bookmakers not quite breathing that sigh of relief yet. Because the Caps, we know the Caps, the history of this franchise, they can blow 3 in a row. And considering how it plays out, only 1 home game for Washington in the final 3 games. If the Knights win game 5, puts a lot of pressure on a team that hasn't handled pressure at home particularly well, both this season and in years past. That being said, let's be honest, this has been a one-sided series. It's been all Caps. And while the bookmakers are breathing relaxed here in Vegas, the books that cater to sharp bettors have not done particularly well in this series because it has been mostly Washington money. And we talk about the domination. Remember game 1 where Vegas scored the 6 goals? Prior to the 3rd period last night, it was 10-2 the other way over in the next 3 games. That's domination from Washington. I'm not convinced Vegas is going to bounce back even in game 5, let alone to force game 7. But we'll talk about that a little later when it comes to shot clock time.
All right, this was you were looking at a push in this game. Game 1 of a doubleheader, Yankees and Tigers. Total was 9, 7-2 in the 9th. A pop-up to the catcher, Romine, who drops it. And then Bird's not covering first base. And the Detroit batter wasn't going to run it out. They still could have thrown him out. He reaches. Instead of 2 outs and nobody on, it leads to a rally and a couple runs. Puts it over the total. They also had to burn Chapman in that game as Severino wins again, number 1 in ROI. And the Yankees cover a big run line. The run line again and cover up big numbers. They went up from 270 to 310 and win game 1 of a doubleheader. They've had 7 games postponed, so a lot of doubleheaders coming up for the Yankees. They win 7-4. Tough. You couldn't get the push. Tough beat and bad for the books.
Oh, that's brutal. Hey, catch a pop up. Come on, catcher, you can do it. Somebody cover first base, please. I got the total in this game. The 2 meaningless runs meant a whole lot to underbettors in that one. And it's not like you're thrilled with a push, but when you deserve a push and you lose it on a stupid error and a stupid play and some garbage runs in the 9th, it's like that 3 at the buzzer in the NBA. It's just like, Oh, really? Come on. Yankees total under? Bad beat for what should have been a push.
And the Angels, $1.80 up to $2, 4-0 against the Royals. They've scored 5 runs in every game. They win 9-6 and lose some. Bad bets, rather. Diamondbacks plus $1.12 went off the favorite in the under 8, down to 7.5. blitzed in San Francisco 10-3, a 7 spot in the fourth for the Giants, who are now at 500.
Yeah, I was really surprised to see all the Arizona money coming in that ballgame. San Fran's playing better baseball. Arizona's just come off a successful couple of series at home against bottom feeders. They beat up Miami and Cincy to snap an extended stretch of futility. To see the money come for Arizona there yesterday and the under money, I didn't see either one. It was good for my pockets. And it was certainly a bad bet for the broader markets with the D-backs and under money, both crashing and burning essentially by the fourth inning.
Bad for the casinos in Las Vegas. World Series of Poker at the Rio. That means these degenerate gamblers are in town having a good time. Once they get felted at the poker table, they're going into the high-limit slots. Look at this tweet. Here's a $40,000 jackpot on triple-double. Aces and a kicker, pays 40 grand. He's playing $50 fully loaded, $10 on the video poker. And another one, how about a $200,000 royal flush? Also tweeted out by @PokerNews on Twitter as $250 a push that guy's playing per spin, per push in video poker. And it's the royal flush for $200,000 as he wanted the cash. So some big jackpots in the high limits with what's going on here with the World Series of Poker. Having a good time at the Rio.
Back in the day, we used to go to the Rio when we wanted to get our diamond, be in the Diamond Club and get the membership upgraded for the Caesars/Harris property. We would go to the MGM, the high limit room, high limit slot machine room, and play that $25. I think I forget if it was a $25 or a $10. It's been a few years. No, it was $5. It was $5 a spin. It was $5 a game, $25 a spin that we would play I'm saying we, being like I'm a video poker expert. Me and my friends who are video poker experts would go there. We'd all get Diamond Club cards and be able to take advantage of all of the amenities at the properties for a full year. But they took the good machines out. Maybe they put some back in. Obviously, they're cashing out the 4 aces and the Royals at these type of prices. But no question, when the World Series of Poker is in town, the video poker machines at the Rio tend to get a lot of play.
$250 a push is just stupid. A flush, straight, and full house, all taxables. Mercy. San Francisco Giants, here we go. Thanks to Intertop Sportsbook, 22 years online, sign up, deposit, and win. Giants at home, $1.47 the total. It's Mad Bum against Corbin, and Mad Bum is back. And what a job by the Giants. No Mad Bum. Cueto's been out, and they're at 500, only a couple games back in that wild NL West. And here he is, making his debut 60 games into the season. Didn't go well for him last year either, or the Giants, but they got to be feeling good, Teddy, that they played 500 ball without him.
Sure. And when you start to look at the stats for the Giants with and without Mad Bum, they're pretty stunning. Since 2013, the Giants, they don't have a crazy winning percentage, but 537 with him on the hill, 484 without him on the hill. His ERA during that span, 3.12. The rest of the Giants starters' ERA during that span, 4.38. Now, he had a bunch of injury rehab starts, including one last week in the minor. His quote, "As long as the front office says I'm ready, I guess I'm ready. I feel ready." Of course, this is a guy who missed a ton of time last year. Remember, he had that dirt bike accident in Colorado. He sat out almost 3 months. He returned mid-July. And, of course, at that point, the Giants were 27 games out of first place. They went 29-46 in his absence compared to 30-30 this year. But worth noting, despite the 87-day layoff, he threw 104 pitches in his first start back, gave up only 4 hits in 7 innings, although he did take the loss against a relatively light-hitting San Diego Padres. So Bumgarner, in theory, can throw 100-plus pitches tonight if the Giants decide to use him that way.
They've won 5 in a row. They swept the Phillies. They only allowed 1 run during that series, and it was an Arrieta home run. And they're in this winning streak. They're outscoring the opposition 22-4. Then you have the Diamondbacks, who are 31-28 and in first place in the NL West. They were playing great ball early. Then Pollock got hurt. Then they lost 16 of 18 games, and the offense has been putrid. Goldschmidt struggling big time. They got they got healthy, where they got the Reds and the Marlins coming into town. They took 2 out of 3 at home against the Reds. Corbin lost in that game, blew a 4-0 lead, gave up a grand slam, had a ton of strikeouts. And then they swept the Marlins as well. And now they start this road trip, and they got bludgeoned yesterday. So see if it continues. But this is, I don't know, Teddy. This is everyone's expecting the Dodgers just to take off and run away with it. But with Kershaw back on the DL and they're under 500, this thing's wide open. And the last place Padres are only 4.5 games out.
That's the irony that no one's talking about San Diego, and certainly the Padres when we think about the trade deadline, not likely to be buyers, but they're 4.5 games out. Why not? That being said, when we look at San Fran, these bats have come alive. And again, this is a squad with a lot of big veteran bats. Buster Posey's hitting. Hunter Pence is hitting the baseball right now. Evan Longoria, not so much, but he's at least showing signs of coming around. And San Fran, again, pounding out 10 runs last night. Arizona hit well at home, but certainly we're talking about in Patrick Corbin for the D-backs, a guy who's had success against San Fran at home. He pitched a one-hit shutout against the Giants at home back in April. But in San Fran, 8 career starts, 1-4 with an ERA approaching 5. And boy, you talk about Goldschmidt, and I think Goldschmidt is worth talking about here. He's hitting just .210 for the season. The power just isn't there.
Yeah.
Although, again, maybe showing signs, but Arizona's not hitting. They're 1-9 their last 10 on the road. They're 1-5 in Corbin's last 6 starts. This isn't a team I'm particularly excited about backing right now. I see a lot more upside for the Giants than I do for the D-backs moving forward. And, of course, Mad Bum, there's worse pitchers out there that you can put your money on. We'll get back to this game when it comes to play of the day time.
All right, very good. NFL now, Kansas City Chiefs. Win total 8.5. Some shops at 8 with juice to the over. Last year, 10-6 straight up, 10-6 ATS, 8-8 with the totals. The playoff misery continues for the Chiefs and also Andy Reid as they blew a huge lead at home against the Titans. Now, the big addition, you get Watkins and also they trade for Fuller. But Mahomes is the new quarterback. Alex Smith traded. Peters traded. Ali released. And Tom Ali released. And Albert Wilson gone as well. So that's your big move here. And I like what I saw out of Mahomes. They trade up to take him. So it's a big step. Say what you want about Alex Smith. And I know he's Charlie Checkdown and wasn't going to do anything for you in the playoffs. The guy won games in the regular season. So now it's all Mahomes here, Teddy, taking over.
Yeah, and of course, when we talk about Charlie Checkdown, it shows at least part of the reason why KC's been so successful of late and why Andy Reid has been such a bet-on coach in the regular season. Real simple. Alex Smith never turned the ball over. I mean, never. Kansas City last year had only 11 giveaways. 11 giveaways in 16 games. That's an NFL best by far. 26 takeaways was slightly better than league average, a little bit better, but the plus 15 turnover margin ended up being number 2 in the NFL. That's huge when you consider the fact their defensive numbers were lousy and downright lousy. You talked about Football Outsiders, number 32 ranked defense, number 32 ranked run defense, number 29 ranked pass defense. To see a team with those type of numbers and check down Charlie at QB, go 10-6 against the spread, 10-6 straight up, to me, that's impressive. But certainly the turnover margin, a big piece of that equation. Now we're seeing market disrespect for KC. Andy Reid, when you talk about head coaches who've had success over the total with their regular season win totals, go back to Philadelphia. Take a look at Andy Reid. I don't know there's a coach other than Bill Belichick that's been better at getting his team to go over the total every single season than Andy Reid. And yet, this split line, there's 8s out there with juice to the over. There's 8.5s at basically even money. This is a no respect for KC line. It is a we don't believe in Patrick Mahomes line when we have a QB guru in Andrew Reid, and Andy Reid, who says, I don't want this guy. I want that guy. I drafted that guy. I groomed that guy. I'm bringing that guy into the fold. The markets are saying, not so fast, my friend. Honestly, in this spot, I trust Andy Reid more than I trust the markets. Reid has a better track record, and I expect Mahomes to come in and it be seamless and flawless for KC in that regard right from the get-go. Now, he may have more turnovers than Smith. They're not going to finish with only 11 giveaways this season. But Mahomes' ability to stretch the field, likely to give guys like Tyreek Hill a little bit more action when it comes to big play touchdowns.
They have weapons, no doubt. Kelsey, Hill, you get Hunt had a great rookie season. So, and the Watkins is a nice addition. That contract is asinine, by the way, but he's got a lot of guys to throw to, and he's got Hunt as well. Eric Bieniemy is the new offensive coordinator as Nagy leaves and takes the Bears job. Also, the win total factored in. I'm with you with Andy Reid, but also it's a tough division as the markets love the Los Angeles Chargers again for, it seems, the 15th year in a row as they find a way to lose every single year. But the markets like the Chargers a lot as well. They went all defense early on in the draft. Made some additions to the defense as well, as I mentioned, with Fuller and Hitchens. Thoughts on the defense and the schedule?
Well, yeah, I mean, the key to this team when we look at the offseason moves is that defensive front. They dumped Marcus Peters. He's now in L.A. They dumped Terrence Mitchell. Kenneth Acker gone. Phillip Gaines gone. Linebackers from Meek Wilson gone. Kevin Pierre-Louis all out. But they did bring in a lot of talent. Hitchens, Amerson, as you talked about, the safety, Robert Golden, David Williams on the defensive line, and then the draft, all defense. Breland Sparks, the DE out of Ole Miss, Derek Nani, the DT out of Florida State, Dorian O'Daniel, the linebacker out of Clemson, Armani Watts, the safety out of Texas. Football Outsiders hated the advanced metrics on this defense. And let's not forget, of course, Eric Berry, returning from injury. He has been absolutely an impact player when he's been healthy in his career. This defense has some talent. I would not be surprised at all to see a significant improvement from KC on the defensive side of the football, both advanced metrics and in reality this season. We talk about the schedule, and it's basically an average strength of schedule for Kansas City. The AFC West teams face the AFC North and the NFC West teams. They're 2 extra games. Not easy. They get the Jags at home and at New England. Those 2 games, at least a part of the reason why Kansas City lined 8.5 instead of 9.5 for the 2 extra games. Jacksonville and the Patriots. That's pretty tough for just about any team. And for a Kansas City team that's expected to be, expected to be down a little bit from the markets, those 2 teams are Kansas City projected in the pick'em/underdog range, hence the lower win total than we might expect.
Yeah, I'd go Chiefs over. I'd go Broncos over, and I'd look at the Raiders under, and maybe the Chargers as well. Maybe the Chargers are a stay away as well. But Andy Reid finds a way, and it's amazing how they win the turnover differential like that every single year. So going to be a fun year in the AFC West. Before we get to the shot clock, anything you want to throw at us on the chat? Questions?
Oh, yeah, there's a ton of stuff that we got from the chat today. We really appreciate all the comments and questions from the chat. Chip Player, I like how Teddy doesn't get too high or too low. He lives 2 minutes from the Alabama-Tennessee state line. How do we monitor the status of these states legalizing sports betting? What would you say, Pauly, in terms of monitoring state by state what they're doing? And ESPN Chalk's pretty good, but it's certainly not the only resource out there. You know anything else, Pauly?
Oh, Dustin Gawker's great. Legal Sports Report. Yeah. Daniel Wallach's good on it. All those guys are terrific. We got New Jersey coming up next, and then maybe Pennsylvania. So I think it looks like 4 or 5 states ready to go for football, maybe more. Mississippi making a push, and New Jersey, New York's all over the place too. But New Jersey up next, maybe 4 to 5 states ready to go for football. But Gawker, David Purdom, those are the guys to follow on Twitter.
Rostradamus, maybe SF and LAD can bring some respectability back to the NL West division. Now they're getting healthy. Rostradamus, Pods could be the next Braves next year. All these next year teams, I want to bet on this year. The Eagles were next year's team. The Astros were next year's team, et cetera, et cetera. Atlanta, I think, is very live. But San Diego, they probably are next year. But if you're betting futures, might be the way to look. Certainly the value there with the Padres. What do you say, Paul?
Why not? 200 to 1. Remember, they got off to a horrible start, too. The Friars playing some good ball. Shot clock time. I'm adamant on this one. Who's in bigger trouble, the Knights or the Cavs? Oh, it's the Cavs. Look at the adjusted series price. At William Hill, the Capitals are only minus 650 to win the series, and they're up 3-1. As Gallant said, and Belmar, other players with the Knights, that was the best game they played of the series. They've had horrible luck. Who hits the post 7 times in 2 games? Win Thursday, it's 3-2. All the pressure shifts to the Capitals with all their postseason failures. The Knights score the first goal Sunday, Game 6 on the road. If that happens, it's a tight building, it's a nervous building, and a nervous team. Knights can still do this. And as far as look at the NBA Finals, what's the real adjusted series price? How high should that really be? Should the Cavs be 100 to 1? I mean, they're going to have to beat the Warriors 4 out of 5, and Iguodala is coming back, and They're 19-1 at home with Durant. Please.
Okay, I'll make the argument for the Knights being in more trouble from the Cavs. Real simple. One team has 3 losses. One team has 2 losses. In a series where you can only allowed to lose 4 games, the team with 3 losses is in more trouble than the team with 2 losses. And considering that it's only happened once in the last 50 years of the Stanley Cup Finals that a team has rallied back from a 3-1 deficit to win the series, doesn't happen very often. Obviously, it's going to take something special or something weird for the Cavs to come back against Golden State, but the Cavs only have 2 losses, and they've yet to play a home game in this series. I say the Knights are in more trouble than the Cavs because they're closer to elimination.
A listener sent this in, too. It's been a good angle playing against a team that's blown out in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the NHL playoffs. Loses by more than 4 goals, or they give up 6 goals as well. I think Fleury will bounce back as 4 of the 6 goals, power play or 4-on-4, and again through 2 periods. Knights had a 10-2 high danger chance advantage when they were even strength. Money time, play of the day, 9-12. Mad Bum back. It's phony. Remember, they had that 16 of 18 streak, or they couldn't win a game, and then they got healthy. It was the Marlins and the Reds at home when they went 5-1. So the Diamondbacks, all kinds of issues, especially on offense. Will take Mad Bum. Plus, they're 1-5 in the last 6 starts that Corbin made. He got roughed up last time out when he got beaten and couldn't hold a 4-run lead against the Reds. Let's lay the $1.40 with the Giants. Respect the move. And Mad Bum back. And a good team that played 500 ball without him and a game and a half back in the NL West. We're back tomorrow. Game 3. NBA playoffs, NBA finals rather. How about that first half line, right? The game's 4.5. The first half is pick 'em. With that 0-2 down to 0-2, take the home team in the first half. We'll go over that. Is Iggy back? We'll update that and preview everything coming up. Recap the baseball. A good card tonight in baseball. Paxton against Keuchel. You got this game in San Francisco. Dodgers in action, a doubleheader with the Twins. So thanks for watching. We're back Wednesday. Another NFL team on SportsBet. Betting Insight today on SBRPicks.com. Thanks for watching. Tell your friends.